There is a pattern in history so disturbing, so tragically repetitive, that once you see it, you can't unsee it. Civilizations didn't always fall because they were weak. They fell because they refused to stand together. They had the numbers. They had the resources. They had the warning signs. But they also had something far more dangerous: ego. Before we begin, if you value deep, story-driven history that exposes the hidden fractures behind collapse, subscribe to Top 10 Untold, because what we uncover here isn't random trivia. It's survival intelligence. Tonight, we enter the moments where cooperation could have saved nations but pride turned potential allies into fatal rivals. Let's begin. Warning number 10. The Greek alliances that devoured themselves. In 480 BCE, the Greek world faced annihilation. The Persian Empire under Xerxes I marched west with one of the largest armies ever assembled. Greek city-states, often bitter rivals, suddenly had a choice: unite or vanish. For a brief moment, survival overpowered ego. Sparta and Athens stood together. The stand at Battle of Thermopylae became legend. The naval miracle at Battle of Salamis shattered Persian dominance. Unity worked, but victory bred arrogance. Soon after, Athens formed the Delian League, originally a defensive coalition. Yet Athens began treating allies as subjects. Tribute became taxation. Partnership became dominance. Sparta watched. Suspicion grew. And in 431 BCE, the Greek world turned inward in the catastrophic Peloponnesian War. It lasted 27 years. Plague, civil wars, betrayals, exhaustion. By the time it ended, Greece was shattered, vulnerable. And when Macedon rose under Philip II of Macedon, there was no united Greece left to resist. Survival required unity. Ego created enemies. Present parallel. Modern alliances today: military, economic, regional, often start as shields. But power imbalances, dominance games, and political ego can slowly hollow them out. Are today's coalitions strong, or just temporarily aligned? Future question: if a global crisis strikes tomorrow, climate, cyber, war B, will nations cooperate? Or relive Greece's fatal pride? Warning number 09. The Italian city-states that opened the door to invasion. In Renaissance Italy, brilliance flourished. Florence, Venice, Milan, Naples, the Papal States, art, banking, innovation. But beneath beauty, rivalry. When Charles VIII of France invaded Italy in 1494, he met not a unified peninsula but fragmented city-states constantly undermining each other. Florence feared Milan. Milan feared Venice. Venice feared everyone. Each thought, let him attack my rival first. The result: foreign powers France, Spain, the Holy Roman Empire turned Italy into a battlefield for decades in the Italian Wars. The Renaissance heartland became a chessboard. Present parallel: when regional blocs compete internally more than externally, external forces exploit the cracks. Economic zones, tech alliances, trade unions fragile if ego dominates. Future question: are today's regional powers repeating Italy's mistake, assuming the storm will hit someone else first? Warning number 08. The German principalities that couldn't stand together. Before Germany existed, it was a mosaic of principalities within the Holy Roman Empire. Hundreds of states, each jealous of autonomy. When the 30 Years' War erupted, religious and political divisions exploded. Protestant versus Catholic, prince versus prince. Foreign powers invited in. The war killed millions. Entire regions depopulated. Survival required cooperation, but rulers prioritized sovereignty over stability. It took devastation before centralization slowly emerged. Present parallel. Federal systems today balance unity and autonomy. But extreme fragmentation can paralyze response in crises. Future question. In the next continental crisis, will decentralization empower resilience, or weaken it? Warning number 07. Indian regional rivalries and the colonial opening. India in the 18th century was powerful but fragmented. The decline of the Mughal Empire left regional powers competing. Marathas, Mysore, Bengal, Hyderabad. Meanwhile, the British East India Company watched patiently. At Battle of Plassey, betrayal within Bengal leadership enabled British control. Divide and rule was not magic. It was opportunity. Internal rivalry created entry points. Present parallel. When domestic polarization weakens internal trust, external actors gain leverage. Future question. How many modern powers are being quietly shaped by internal division today? Warning number 06. African kingdoms competing while empires expanded. In West Africa, powerful states like Oyo Empire and Kingdom of Dahomey competed intensely. Trade rivalries. Territorial disputes. European powers entered coastal trade networks, then politics, then control. Fragmentation reduced collective bargaining power. Over time, competition turned into colonization vulnerability. Present parallel. Resource-rich regions today face similar external interest. Internal unity determines negotiation strength. Future question. Will strategic minerals in Africa unite governments or divide them? Warning number 05. Indigenous resistance fragmentation. Across the Americas, when European colonization surged, survival was not impossible. Unity could have changed everything. Native confederacies existed, like the Iroquois Confederacy, yet many tribes were independent, wary of old rivalries. When facing European settlers, old feuds persisted. Distrust blocked coordinated defense. Result: Europeans exploited divisions tribe by tribe. Territories fell. Cultures shattered. Knowledge and sovereignty were lost not just by strength, but by fractured unity. Present parallel. Modern indigenous movements sometimes suffer internal divisions, weakening bargaining power or cultural preservation. Future question. If future resource or land crises arise, will fragmented communities survive or repeat history's errors? Warning number 04. Arab political rivalries. The medieval Islamic world was vast, yet rivalry ran deep. Umayyad versus Abbasid. Fatimid ambitions. Regional governors competing. Shared faith and culture existed. Yet ego and personal ambition repeatedly led to internal conflict. Result: vulnerability to external threats. Crusades, Mongol invasions, and later Ottoman centralization exploited fragmented regions. Present parallel. Political ego in powerful regional blocs today can undermine shared strategic interests. Future question: could internal rivalries in the Middle East open doors for external manipulation again? Warning number 03: Balkan nationalism and fractured empires. The Balkans, a powder keg of identities. Ottoman retreat created opportunity, but historical mistrust. Serbs versus Croats, Greeks versus Bulgarians, Albanians, Bosniaks, and others. Survival required temporary alliances, yet pride, revenge, and ego dominated. The result: wars that ignited global crises, like the spark for World War I. Present parallel: ethnic and national rivalries, if unchecked, can destabilize whole regions. Future question: can shared economic or environmental challenges overcome centuries of mistrust? Warning number 02: corporate patent wars, ego in modern business. In modern times, survival is not only battlefield or kingdom, it's innovation. Tech giants have faced scenarios where cooperation could have accelerated human progress, but rivalry and ego blocked collaboration. Patent wars over smartphones and AI stalled adoption. Companies duplicated work instead of pooling resources. Startups crushed rather than partnered. Survival of the business ecosystem suffered. Consumers lost. Innovation slowed. Present parallel: this is a direct echo of historical ego versus unity. What we see in empires and kingdoms now happens in boardrooms. Future question: could humanity's survival in AI, biotech, or climate tech be hindered by modern corporate ego? Warning number 01: modern political polarization, allies turned enemies. Today, survival of societies often depends on unity in crisis. Climate disasters, global pandemics, economic collapse. Yet, political ego and tribalism turn potential allies into adversaries. Partisanship blocks solutions. Trust erodes. Cooperation is replaced with obstruction. This isn't theory. It's unfolding live. Humanity's survival increasingly depends on learning the harshest lesson history teaches. Ego destroys potential allies. Future question: if the next global catastrophe strikes, will we cooperate or fracture like civilizations before us?